Even the biggest game of the year couldn't distract from the fact that the U.S. is in the middle of a deadly pandemic. COVID-19 has killed more than 460,000 Americans. This is according to Johns Hopkins University. Still, scenes like this one from a Tampa bar are popping up all over social media. Fans celebrating in huge crowds, and it's hard to find a mask among them. I see a lot of droplets out there. Liza Lucas, this is not the only video out there raising concerns among health experts.
That's right. The social spotlight is definitely on those Super Bowl parties. A lot of those images trending on social media this morning. This comes as health experts fear that the game could lead to a spike in cases, especially concerning as variants of the virus circulate across several states here in the U.S. Let's get to another clip that's been going across social media. This was the scene last night in Tampa. Bucs fans celebrating the team's victory with few masks again in sight. Health officials sounding the alarm leading up to Super Bowl Sunday, urging people to gather with friends over Zoom and not in crowds.
If previously one person could get 2 people infected, with these new strains, it's possible that one person can get 3 people infected, and so on.
Online, we also saw a lot of heat being thrown at Tom Brady for arriving at the game with no mask on. Others raising concerns about the size of the crowd. We actually saw about 25,000 people attending the game. Social distancing may have been a little harder to see because there were also 30,000 cardboard cutouts amid the crowd, and that was certainly a talker online as well. The crowd size and celebration definitely part of the post-game buzz this year.
You know, it looked like real fans were out there. I mean, we knew some were there, but the cardboard cutouts really gave the impression that a lot of folks were inside the stadium. So let's be clear, it's not just about concern about what was happening in Tampa, all the activities surrounding the Super Bowl, but also those parties that a lot of folks here in Atlanta and the metro, you know, they're gathering with their friends. They still wanted to have some sort of normalcy. I think COVID fatigue is very real. We're almost a year into this pandemic and people just want to gather. I just want to quote one thing from one of the experts here. Well, it just disappeared off my phone. But basically, if you're going to a party, right, and there's like 10, 20 people there, you're more likely, there's about 3 or 4 people more likely to come out of that home with COVID. And now that we have these other variants, at least one detected here in the metro, that increases the potential of getting COVID when you're leaving these parties.
You know who's closely looking at what's going on here? The NBA, who has decided to have the All-Star game here on March 7th. That's what we're looking at next. We're trying to see, okay, what did the Super Bowl do? What did the NFL do? Where did they fail? And they're trying to, because they haven't come out with the protocols yet. I believe it's happening later on this week for players. So I'm curious to see what we're going to do here in Atlanta on March 7th.
And the big parties.
Yeah, the big time parties. You know, typically I thought that you couldn't get into places without a mask on, and I thought that at least the facilities were at least refereeing that. It doesn't appear that anybody was checking for masks at all. I mean, you had one on to get in, but once you got in there, you could take it off, and nobody was really policing that.
Yeah, we were out in Roswell yesterday, and there were crowds, and they said they had reservations for full houses. I didn't stick around for that. I went home and watched it by myself. But yeah, a lot of folks were gathering yesterday.
All right. Well, we're seeing infections and also hospitalizations go down all across the country. Deaths are still up here in Georgia, so it'll be interesting to see if the Super Bowl parties and such will lead to another spike in COVID infections. All right, Liza is going to have much more from the Super Bowl's biggest moments in the next half hour, and you can find more on 11alive.com, including the most searched commercials and full performances.